Welcome to the Explainer. Have you ever thought about slowing down time? I don't mean on a clock. I mean inside your own body, inside your very cells. Today, we're diving into the science that could completely redefine what it means to grow old.
Look, we all want to live longer, right? But more than that, we want to live better. So what if the secret to that isn't some futuristic fantasy, but something that's already happening, or not happening, inside of us right now? So to really get our heads around this, let's use a simple metaphor. I want you to think of your body as having two separate aging clocks. They're both ticking away right now, but they're measuring time in completely different ways. Let's break these two clocks down. The first one is all about the cellular mess. Think of it like a maintenance problem, just junk piling up. The second clock, that's the genetic fuse. This one is literally pre-programmed into your DNA, burning a little bit shorter every single day. We're going to dig into both. Okay, first up, the cellular mess. Imagine that every single one of your trillions of cells has its own little sanitation department, its own cleanup crew. So, what happens when that crew just, stops showing up for work? Well, the official name for this process is autophagy. It literally comes from the Greek for self-eating. Sounds kind of weird, right? But it's absolutely essential. It's your body's built-in housekeeping and recycling system, breaking down old, busted parts to keep your cells running smoothly. And when it's working properly, it's beautiful, really. You can see here the cell spots some waste, like a worn-out protein, it packages it up, and then it just breaks it down for parts. The raw materials get reused. It is the ultimate cellular recycling program. But here's the kicker. As we get older, this whole system starts to get, lazy. It weakens. And you can see the result on the defective side. You get this buildup of toxic gunk, like clumps of useless proteins and failing power plants inside the cell. It's just chaos. And when this cleanup crew basically goes on strike, the fallout it's pretty serious. All that garbage leads to something called oxidative stress. Think of it like cellular rust and total energy failure. And this isn't just a minor issue. It's strongly linked to major diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. It speeds up aging for your entire body. Okay, so that's clock number one. Now, let's talk about this second aging clock. This one isn't about a mess. No, this one's a countdown timer that's hardwired directly into your genes. So at the very tips of every single one of your chromosomes, you have these little protective caps. They're called telomeres, and their whole job is to protect your precious genetic code every time a cell has to make a copy of itself. And honestly, the best way to think about them is like the little plastic tips on your shoelaces. Without that little cap, the whole lace just unravels and falls apart. Well, telomeres do that exact same thing for our DNA. But here's the thing, and this is absolutely crucial. Every single time a cell divides, a tiny piece of that telomere gets snipped off. It just gets shorter and shorter and shorter with every division. Eventually, that genetic fuse gets so short that the cell can't divide safely anymore. It just stops and enters the state of old age, called senescence. And you can bet this has huge consequences for our health. Study after study directly links shorter telomeres to a higher risk for all sorts of age-related diseases. We're talking osteoporosis, cancer, dementia. So this isn't just about wrinkles, it's about the length of our health span, our healthy life. All right, so we've got a cellular mess piling up and a genetic fuse that's burning down. Sounds kind of grim, right? Well, the good news is science is starting to figure out some real, evidence-based ways to fight back on both fronts. First, to get that cleanup crew back on the job, research points to a few powerful strategies. One of the big ones is simply caloric restriction. And beyond that, scientists are looking at specific compounds, some are drugs, others are found in nature, that seem to flick the switch and turn this critical recycling system back on. Okay, so that's the mess. But what about that genetic fuse? Can we actually do anything to stop it from burning down so fast? Is it even possible to protect our telomeres? The answer, incredibly, is yes. And the solution might actually surprise you. We all know exercise is good for us, right? But a huge analysis from 2024 found that when it comes to telomeres, not all exercise is created equal. General workouts, they didn't really move the needle. But one specific type had a clear, significant, positive effect. High-intensity interval training, or HIIT. So just how big of an effect are we talking about? Now this number, a mean difference of 0.15, it might sound small and technical, But in the world of statistics, this is huge. It tells us that the impact was powerful and not just some random fluke. It suggests that this specific type of short, intense exercise has this unique ability to actually protect the ends of our DNA. It's not just making you feel younger, it might be slowing a key aging clock in your cells.
Okay, let's pull all of this together. We've looked at the problems, we've looked at the science-backed solutions. Now, let's build your practical toolkit for cellular health. All right, here it is, laid out plain and simple. On one side, you've got this cellular mess. The problem is toxic junk building up. The evidence-based solution? Boost autophagy. On the other side, you've got the genetic fuse. The problem is vulnerable DNA and cells that stop dividing. The solution? Protect those telomeres, and the best tool we've found for that is HIT.
So what's the bottom line here? It's that there's no single magic bullet for this stuff. Hacking your cellular aging is really a two-pronged attack. One part is actively cleaning up the mess, and the other is protecting your genetic blueprint from wearing out.
And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty mind-blowing question. As science gives us more and more tools to control these deep biological clocks, are we on the verge of not just adding more years to our life, but completely redefining what it even means to grow old?